We are at the hospital because we are dealing with okay. We were dealing with bladder cancer. And he is having his bladder removed, and they will create a new bladder with one of his intestines. And this option was, I guess, the best because it fully removes the cancer to ensure that it doesn't come back, because it was close to his muscle. So yeah, we are here to fully remove the bladder.
Texting the boys. It's their first day of practice today.
She was there for everything. Doctor visits, post-surgery check-ins, even stepping into the role of personal cheerleader and caretaker. From the start, it wasn't a slow rollout like most relationships. There was no soft launch, no easing in. They skipped right past the casual phase and went straight into hospitals, recovery rooms, and full-on commitment. Unconventional? Definitely, but somehow it's made their bond stronger. And let's be real, stronger is an understatement, because word is she's not only married, but also expecting twins. Now, not everyone is thrilled about this. Deion's relationship history is complicated, to say the least. His first marriage to Carolyn Chambers gave him 3 children before ending in divorce. Then came Pilar Bigger Sanders, with whom he had 2 more kids. But that relationship collapsed in court battles, custody fights, and accusations that painted Pilar in the worst possible light. After that, Deion spent years with Tracy Edmonds, 7 years of dating, a proposal, and then, after more than a decade together, calling off the engagement in 2023, so when Karrueche entered the picture, many people saw red flags. They worried she was setting herself up for the same heartbreak others had endured. But as long as she seemed happy, fans were willing to sit back and let her enjoy her fairy tale. Well, everyone except Chris Brown. The minute her romance with Deion went public, Chris started unraveling. He's been holding on to the hope of getting back into her life for a while now, but this new chapter makes it clear. She's moved on, and he hasn't, which honestly isn't surprising. Their story goes back to 2011, when Chris and Karrueche first connected while she was still working in fashion and building her modeling career. Things escalated quickly. They were official by March of that year. But barely a year later, cracks started showing. By 2012, Chris had reignited things with Rihanna, putting Karrueche in an impossible spot. Suddenly, she was in the middle of a public love triangle, dealing with relentless backlash from Rihanna's fanbase. Eventually, Chris ended things with her, but the way he did it left everyone side-eyeing. He issued a statement claiming he loved Karrueche but didn't want her hurt by his friendship with Rihanna. He insisted being single was the better option for them both. But instead of gracefully bowing out, he dropped a promo video confessing he was in love with both Rihanna and Karrueche at the same time.
Agree with somebody, then you can fall in love with somebody else. It's kind of difficult. Is it such thing as loving 2 people? I don't know.
Let's talk about loyalty, or in this case, the lack of it. By May 2013, Chris's rekindled flame with Rihanna had already fizzled out. And like clockwork, he ran right back to Karrueche. The shocking part? She welcomed him back almost instantly. Within weeks, they were living together again, as if the whole saga had never happened. But predictably, history repeated itself. Chris landed in rehab, where rumors quickly spread that he'd hooked up with a staff member. Before long, he was back behind bars. On top of that, whispers surfaced that Karrueche finally called it quits after catching him texting multiple women. Their relationship became a never-ending cycle. Karrueche catching him sneaking around, explosive arguments, and Chris firing off shade online, only for them to reconcile again and again. The cycle finally snapped when Karrueche discovered Chris had cheated yet again, this time with model Nia Guzman. But it wasn't just another fling. He had fathered a child with her. And the way Karrueche found out? The same way everyone else did, online. She was blindsided. Furious, she went straight to Twitter, writing, "Listen, one can only take so much. Best of luck to Chris and his family. No baby drama for me. Looks like I'm a single lady again." From there, she poured her energy into her career and began rebuilding her life. She even started dating again. But Chris couldn't handle watching her move on. Every time another man entered the picture, his jealousy spiraled. In 2015, he sat down for an interview where he admitted to his mistakes, claiming he was ready to take accountability. Meanwhile, Karrueche openly discussed her past with him in her own interviews, and Chris wasn't having it. He lashed out online, accusing her of using his name for attention. "Honestly, it's so effing pointless to keep doing interviews about me. Talk about your career. If there's no more relationship, stop talking about me." It's weak. Karrueche wasn't about to stay silent. She clapped back. They asked a question, and as a mature adult, I answered. "I'm not shying away from my life or experiences. Don't be mad because our relationship ended due to your lack of loyalty. You know what's weak? Forcing yourself into my car, breaking my window, blowing up my phone, showering me with gifts, instead of fixing your own behavior. Grow up." That red hit hard. Chris quickly softened, writing a post admitting he still loved her. "I'm eternally thankful for you being a part of my life. I've learned so much from you. I wish you nothing but happiness. All I was doing was trying to fight for the woman I love." But the drama didn't end there. It escalated. Chris allegedly began stalking her, monitoring her, and even threatening both Karrueche and her family. By 2017, she had reached her breaking point and went to court for a restraining order. In her testimony, she claimed things had turned violent after Chris demanded she return diamond rings he'd given her. When she refused, he allegedly sent threatening messages. She told the court that around February, he said to people close to her, "If I can't have her, then nobody else will. I'll take her out." Karrueche also revealed that during their relationship, Chris had physically assaulted her, punching her in the stomach twice and even pushing her down a flight of stairs. She never reported it at the time, but the revelations shocked many, especially since all of this happened while Chris was still on probation for assaulting Rihanna back in 2009. He had pleaded guilty to felony assault and criminal threats, narrowly avoiding jail through a plea deal. The picture was clear. The cycle of toxicity had gone far beyond heartbreak. It had become dangerous. By 2015, Chris Brown had finally completed over 1,000 hours of community service tied to the Rihanna assault case. You'd think that kind of accountability might have pushed him to change his ways, but the same destructive patterns kept repeating. Fans dragged him constantly, because while he was serving time for one woman, he was allegedly inflicting similar pain on another, and nothing proved that more than his obsession with Karrueche. Even after she secured a 5-year restraining order against him, Chris couldn't seem to let her go. The very moment it expired, he was right back online, tracking her every move. He lurked on blogs, liked her photos, and dropped comments whenever she posted. In 2022, when she uploaded new pictures, Chris made sure to publicly like them, loudly signaling he was still watching. The fixation even bled into his music. During a feud with Quavo, Chris took shots on a track called Freak, throwing shade about Quavo's rumored relationship with Karrueche. The bar was clear, he was still bitter, still territorial. Quavo wasted no time firing back with his own diss, Tinder, mocking Chris for losing Karrueche, calling him out for his history of abuse, and even labeling him a cokehead. The verses hit hard, with Quavo spitting lines about Chris beating women and spiraling on drugs, a direct and brutal takedown. On the same album, Chris also dropped a track called Residual, which many fans immediately linked to Karrueche. The lyrics were practically a confession. She was still on his mind, he couldn't let her go, and he was haunted by what they'd built and lost. Whenever he performed that song, he tied a red bandana to his mic stand. To casual fans, it seemed random, but those who remembered knew the reference. Back in 2014, when Chris was released from jail, Karrueche threw him a surprise welcome home party, blindfolding him with a red bandana. Now, years later, he was still clinging to that memory, signaling on stage that he hadn't moved on. But the reality is, Karrueche has moved on. She's building a life with someone who appears to love and respect her, and that's when Chris completely unraveled. When news broke that she was married and expecting twins, he spiraled publicly. He shaded the situation on social media, posting, "Lilish still pisses me off to this day. I'ma pray on it." And if that wasn't messy enough, insiders claim he even reached out to Karrueche, allegedly offering to help raise the twins if she gave him another chance. Fans called it what it was: desperation. Both of his most high-profile exes, Rihanna and Karrueche, have moved on, and Chris doesn't seem to know how to handle it. From stalking her online, to subliminal lyrics, to publicly venting his frustrations, he's unraveling in real time. The bigger question now is whether Karrueche will even entertain his apologies, or if she's closing that chapter for good. One thing is certain, the tension isn't dying down anytime soon. And if Chris keeps spiraling, the next phase of this saga could be more explosive than anyone expects.